Okay, I think I'm live. Hello, everybody. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I might be a tiny bit rusty, hopefully, not as much, so it's not visible to anybody. But for those of you who are here right now, could you let me know if you can see me and hear me well? And basically, if everything's okay with the technical side of things before we move on. I just want to make sure that it's actually working properly before we start. Okay, that's great. So it appears that you can see me and hear me, and it's all good. Great. It's awesome to see you folks. I'm really stoked for this because as I said, it's been a while since I've been doing any lives like this. And it would be great to do it more often. So, as I was saying in the recent post on Patreon, I would like to do these 4 times a year for each equinox and solstice, at least around the time of each of those, to have some more like casual, chit chat, doing some free readings, answering questions, talking about stuff, I'm into, or all the good stuff, and more on the casual level, I suppose. So yeah, hello. So before we start with the readings and the questions, because I would like for everybody to have at least a few minutes to be able to join us, I would like to do something, that I used to do on YouTube back in the day. And I figured it would be fun to do it on a live, which is talk a tiny bit about my favorites in random categories for, this time of year, which would be spring. So I know this is kind of random, but I just felt like doing this. So I would like to talk to you about favorite decks that I'm using at this time of year, favorite fragrances, which might be a tiny bit random, but I'm hoping to tap into some witchy aspects of that as well. Oh yeah, I'm super excited it's spring as well. I feel you. um and also just some faves in terms of like journaling and grimoire keeping and all of that stuff, because it's a big part of what I like to do as well. So starting with the decks, I don't know if you folks have this thing, but it's my issue for sure. Is that as soon as we get spring, so as soon as winter is over, most people usually move on to like more colorful decks, or like basically tools in your witchcraft that would be more resembling of the actual season that's happening at the moment. And for me it's kind of the opposite, which is funny, but it happens every year this way. And it's that as soon as I drown the Majanna effigy and basically observe the spring equinox, something shifts in my brain where I'm like, I need darkness all of a sudden. And it happens like this each year. So I don't know why it is like that. And it's usually reflected in the decks that I tend to reach for. So some of the faves that I've been enjoying lately would be, for example, the Fallen Angel Oracle. I hope you can see that. It's kind of like this edgy Oracle deck with these photo manipulation depictions of the goetic spirits, actually. So it is kind of on a darker side, but also it helps me connect to the land spirits. And I have been, for example, using this for daily divination with my novena that we are currently doing, the spring novena, and it's been great. And another dark deck that I reached for as soon as we, were past the spring equinox moment is my good old Mary El Tarot, which is, we go way back quite a few years at this point. And it's one of those that I tend to reach for. And there is nudity in this one, by the way. I tend to reach for it when I have this mood for, kind of like an eclectic, darker, esoteric deck with a lot of symbolism, but also this connection to nature. I would say that it's kind of like it has something about it that is reminiscent of the Thoth Tarot for me, but I don't really like to reach for Thoth per se, which is funny because I like the idea of it and the images by Lady Frida Harris. But as soon as I reach for the actual deck, I don't really feel like reading with it. So the Mary L kind of fills that hole for me because it is a great reader, at least for me personally. So that's what I've been enjoying. Yeah, I agree. It's quite beautiful. And then when it comes to Lenormand, because that's a system that I'm really into, I maybe don't talk about it as much anywhere because there's no opportunity to be talking about it that much. But I really love reading the Lenormand, and one that I've been enjoying is the Retro Lenormand, which is actually a reproduction of a Polish deck from the 1930s, and it's just the coolest stuff. You can kind of see this very old school hand drawn images with some symbolism as well as keywords that are of course in Polish, very minimalistic, and with backs like these. So it's quite minimalistic, but I really enjoy it, and it's been such a great reader, honestly. Like with some Lenormand decks, I feel like they are kind of like deaf to my questions, and those I tend not to reach for because of that. And then there are some that are really like reliable, like straight away, and this one is one of them for sure. The author of the Fallen Angel deck, Nigel Suckling, I believe. I'm not sure, but I think so. Yeah. It should be still in print and quite accessible, at least the last time I checked. So, yeah, no problem. And lastly, this one is actually Spring Vibes, and I would like to use this one for readings for you folks today. This is the Flower Child Tarot, and it's, this very kind of hippie deck with fairies and also frogs. I'm not sure if any frog will pop up for us here. Let me just look for some frogs. Oh yeah, the magician, for example. This is just amazing. I love the vibe of this deck. So I've been enjoying this lately as well. And I'm going to be using this one for readings for you in a moment. So yeah, those are the decks I've been into lately. Let's move on to fragrances because I really want to talk about this for a moment, okay? And I don't think I'm going to have any other opportunity because I don't really make content like lifestyle content, sorry. But I have been on a hunt for a fragrance that I can use during the light half of the year, because it's been a huge struggle for me. And I'm one of those people who don't really like overly sweet, like flowery or fruity scents because they just don't fit me as a person. And even my husband, when I'm trying fragrances like that, just recently I was testing some with like hints of lilac and wisteria, which they sound amazing in theory, but in practice actually when I try it, my husband is like, okay, but you smell like your mother, like you need something darker. And that's kind of the vibe, honestly. I have a really hard time finding something that just suits me as a person. And yeah, so I've been trying to experiment because my kind of go-to for many, many, many years has been Alien by Mugler, but I have been using it for so long that I can't really smell it for years now. So I've been trying to find something else basically. During the dark half of the year, I really enjoy using Black Phantom by Kilian, and that scent is just amazing, dark, and just it's great, but it's not suitable for the light half of the year because of how kind of heavy it is. So I finally managed to find a scent, but actually it's 2 cents, okay? Because apparently my life can't be easy. So the thing is that I figured if I can't find one scent that's going to fit me, I need to check out layering scents. And I think I managed to find the perfect combo. And that would be both actually from the same brand, you could say, whatever you call these. So this one, Perle de la Lique, I think that's how you're supposed to say it. And this one, which is also from La Lique, Encre Noire. And this one is actually supposed to be like male or, for men. And this one is technically for women or unisex. But together, they create this perfect combo where you actually smell like this old church cathedral that's like soaked through with old incense and dust, and some like flowers that are standing at the altar, because there was a funeral the other day, that kind of vibe. Because this one, it does kind of look, you know like nothing interesting, but it makes me think of a ghost of a lady, because it has these notes of like rose and patchouli and vetiver, that kind of stuff, and pepper. So it's kind of edgy, but still like manageable, I suppose, to be like smelled by regular people and not like fellow witches. But then when I layer this one on top, this one smells like a dark soil in the forest straight after rain, that kind of a vibe. So when you combine them together, as I said, it kind of smells like an old cathedral that's soaked in old incense smells. So yeah, it's amazing. Oh, you love the Encre Noir. Yeah, I heard that it's a classic. I kind of had it on my radar, but wasn't sure if it would be for me, but it turns out it's great. So, and both of these, by the way, are kind of unisex. So my husband has been using them as well, which is great because it's funny. They smell so different on him as compared to me. So it's kind of cool to, you know, be able to use them together. Um, Oh yeah, Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. I think somebody recommended that to me. You folks in the US have so much like cool niche perfume brands and all of that, like small brands. It's amazing. I've been looking into potentially like trying some of them, but it's like pretty much impossible to get them imported over here to Poland unless you pay a lot of money. So, and I don't really want to spend that much. So, but maybe someday. But yeah, I've been seeing like some of the ones that you have, like with really dark, witchy, like swampy vibes and all of that. I love that, and I wish we had more of that in Europe as well. Honestly, like if anybody here in Europe is watching this and you make perfume, please make some dark perfume for witches that smell like the forest in autumn and like mushrooms and decay, and old churches and cemeteries, that kind of shit, please. That would be amazing, honestly. But I am really content with these two for spring. So that's my vibe this season for sure. I know it's kind of random for me to talk about scents, but I really wanted to put this out there because I'm just so happy with the fact that I finally found something that smells nice. uh Solstice scents. Yeah, that sounds cool. Oh my, I'm just reading about the notes that you were mentioning in the afternoon over phone. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Okay, and lastly, from the faves, before we move on to the actual readings and questions, because I don't want to like take up too much time with this. Some journaling stuff, because as some of you folks might know, at least those of you who are into like journals and travelers notebooks and planning and that kind of stuff, that I've been using like a passport size traveler's notebook for over a year at this point. And it's been serving me so well, honestly. I still love it. But the thing is that recently, like a month or two ago, I started craving, because I was doing like micro journaling in that one. It's not really suitable for like long, pieces of journaling, because you would be using up like one insert per day or something, and that's not sustainable. So I was craving, getting back to a bigger journal to be able to journal some more. And so I actually got like an A5 of the same. This is September leather, by the way. So it's cool because I can carry like both my journal and also a book that I'm reading at the time if it's not too thick, because you can insert like multiple things in here, right? So I've been loving this, and this is not something I carry on me like outside of the home. This one is the one I carry with me when I am out of the home, but the bigger one has been great just, to use around the home. And other than that, I also have to say, like, my newest discovery, newest, yeah, maybe, from like a month or two ago as well, is actually a pen, the Jinhao 10 pen, which is a retractable fountain pen. I know for those of you who aren't into fountain pens, you're like, what the fuck is she talking about? It's basically like a regular pen like this, but it's a fountain pen. That's how it works, and it's so great. Like, I've been carrying that shit everywhere with me because it's just so handy, so smooth, writes amazingly, and it's actually super cheap as well. So it's, you could say, a dupe of the what's it called, the capless, I can't remember now. Fuck. Sorry. But yeah, it's really great. So with that, I've also been enjoying some inks, right? Because you need to fill the pen with something. And my go-tos have been for some time now various types of browns. But I think my favorite ones, oh yes, Pilot Capless. Thank you so much. So I have been enjoying the Metamorphosis from Waringal. This is a series of inks based on like famous books, basically. So this one is based off of Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, and you can kind of see it's like this burgundy brown color, basically. So that one has been great. And also from Ferris Wheel Press Writing Desk, which is this warm dark brown color as well. I love this one, I think, even more than the Metamorphosis, but these two have been my go-to. And I know it's technically spring, so I should, right? Move on to some maybe more lighter colors, but I'm just loving the browns so much. So yeah, these are just some of my faves. We can now move on from that and actually move on to the, why am I out of focus? Sorry about that. Move on to the questions. So now let me just quickly catch up with the chat to make sure I haven't missed anything that I would like to bring up before we move on. Okay. I love it that we have so many fountain pen nerds here and like basically into similar stuff. I love this. And it's cool because, normally I don't talk about these things, so I have no way of comparing, but it's cool that it's kind of coming up now. So I will now, before we move on to, if you, by the way, yeah, okay, let's make this not chaotic. If you would like me to pull a card for you, you can ask a question here in the chat. So you can either ask for like a general question for, this equinox time or like for spring season, or you can ask a specific question that you would like me to answer. I will pull like one card, maybe two cards tops. These are going to be like mini readings. If you have a question, please type it in caps lock so I can see it in, capital letters, so I can actually see it in the chat and not miss it. That would be very helpful for me. And also, if you don't want like a reading, but you have a question that you would like me to answer more like a Q&A style, about anything pertaining to Polish folk magic, folklore, traditional witchcraft, animism, anything, feel free to ask in the chat as well, and also in caps lock so that I can see it. But before I take your questions live from the chat, I have some questions that were asked beforehand on the NGL app for those who wanted to stay anonymous. So I will go through those first, and then we will go through the ones that pop up live on the chat. So The first question that I got, this is not a reading question, but a Q&A question. So the question is, how do you work on developing your intuition? And I think this is something that, probably comes up for every practitioner of magic and witchcraft, because we really want to make sure that we have those skills kind of fairly accessible to us, so that we can properly work on our craft. And this is especially useful when doing divination or doing spirit work of any kind. So I appreciate this question because it's really cool and really universal, and potentially maybe helpful for more than just one person. So when it comes to developing intuition, honestly, at this point in my craft, I have been at it for so long that I feel like it's not at a stage of developing for me per se, but more so just upkeeping the skills that I already have. So I will kind of talk retrospectively about how I was developing my intuition, and then maybe mention how I am kind of upkeeping it today. So I think personally that depending on what kind of skill set you have naturally that comes to you, the easiest is the way for you to go, right? So it would be cool to first kind of get to know yourself in terms of what comes to you naturally, right? And some examples to mention here is, for example, divination, and picking a system that is the easiest available to you. So the system that gives you the clearest readings. That's, I think, one of the easiest entry points into developing your intuition. And all it takes, honestly, in my humble opinion, is just doing it regularly. It's kind of like playing an instrument. If you want to play an instrument well, you want to practice regularly, because over time, with repetition, everything comes easier, and you learn to basically develop this kind of muscle memory, right? And I think personally that it comes very similarly with intuition as well. I know that this varies between people because our bodies are different. So we have different senses, and I mean like mundane senses, like, sight, smell, hearing, and so on, or touch, that are more or less kind of prominent for us. So I would look into ways, and again, you need to kind of get to know yourself, look into ways that help you kind of see the signals that your body is sending to you, and actually understanding what that means. I think that's the best foundation that you can give yourself in terms of doing anything that has to do with intuition. So, like divination, or dream work, or scrying, or entering trance or visionary states where, things are kind of in between a lot, right? So, in order to get to know your body, to read those signs well, and for that to be reliable for you, I think it's best to. Many people suggest meditation. I think meditation is overrated personally. And I think for many people, and especially nowadays in the kind of world that we live in, where most of us are just overwhelmed with the amount of stimuli and everything, meditation can seem like an annoying chore that discourages you from training your skills like that. So instead of meditation, I would suggest to get to know your body through jour- guided journeying, or like deep relaxation of the body, or doing activities that help you feel your body more. And now you can focus that on different senses, right? Depending on which sense you feel the most kind of closest to, that is easiest for you to understand what your body means when it's sending you the signals. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I think if you want to develop your intuition, you need to find ways to understand your body more, because that's where all of the information comes through. When you are engaging in activities that have to do with intuition, you kind of become a vessel for the information that's coming through to you. And so if you understand your body, you will be able to actually receive that intuitive information, right? Okay, does that make sense? So I highly recommend, if you want to develop those skills, to actually do the pleasant things like relaxing, daydreaming, going on a hike if you're able, and so on. I think that's more valuable long term. But actually, when you do that, you need to do that mindfully. That's the key, right? And I think that's long term more valuable than being stuck in like meditation when you are sitting in one position and just getting annoyed at that. So that would be my advice. And when it comes to upkeeping my intuition skills that I already kind of have, what I really like to do is, again, doing divination regularly. I usually read cards on a almost daily basis so that I stay sharp. And every now and then, when opportunity arises, I like to also do readings for other people. I don't really offer them like professionally to everybody at this stage. I only offer them to a small amount of patrons and my friends and family and so on. But doing readings for others is where I think it develops the quickest and can be also upkept, so that you stay sharp, as sharp as I was saying. So I don't know if that answers the question, but this is just how I go about it. And if you feel kind of lost after my maybe a bit chaotic answer to this, we do have a class about this on Patreon. And that it's called something like developing the witch's senses or something. It talks about all the methods that I personally favor, as well as some alternatives as well for developing your intuition. Let me just take a sip. Okay, so we do have a divination reading for an anonymous person. So I hope whoever asked this is either watching now or is going to watch a replay of this live later. Uh, Again, using the flower child tarot. And the question is, will I find true love this summer? Let's see. I'm kind of excited. Ooh. Oh my. It can be easy, right? So we got judgment. And I think in the context of this question of will you find love this summer, I think it's almost like your guides are ringing a bell at the back of your like mind, trying to tell you like, are you sure this is the thing to pay attention to at this moment? And kind of pointing to the realization that perhaps you should be focusing on something else at this time. So I'm not sure if this is good news for you. I don't think so, honestly. I mean, depends. If you are really determined and still decide to approach finding love this summer, then perhaps. But I think this is not what you should be doing, this summer. Perhaps there's something more pressing that you should take care of first so that you are actually ready for love. That's how I would interpret this. Okay, and now we can move on. I can see we have quite a lot of questions. That's exciting. So we are going to now read the questions from the live chat. Okay, so it is a wonderful world is asking for guidance for witchcraft and priestess path. Okay, that's a wonderful question for a wonderful world. Fuck, I'm so cheesy today. I'm sorry, guys. Kind of in a mood. This is what the Equinox always does to me, by the way. It just feels like a threshold where everything is, I don't know. I just sometimes feel like everything's hitting me at once at this stage of the year, and it's peculiar. But I think it also lends itself to, for example, readings, right? Because you have just so many um, kind of influences, energies floating around. So, yeah, let's see. Guidance for witchcraft and priestess path. Okay. We got the chariot, which in this deck is just so lovely, by the way, with the two cats, black and white cats, and the fairy in their chariot. So I think in terms of for because both witchcraft and being a priestess um, are inherently very much to do with your tuning in into your spiritual self and being kind of on point of the currents within you, so to speak, so that you are best able to, I don't know if as a priestess, if you serve any community and so on, but oftentimes that kind of comes with the territory, right? So the chariot asks you to consider the sometimes maybe polarizing energies within you or currents within you, and where there's internal conflict, and how to potentially try and find the middle path between those conflicting areas of your life, so that you can make the best out of it. So I think this would be something good to look into this spring for you. Perhaps some light shadow work, or seeing where you are conflicted about the things you are doing as a witch or as a priestess. Perhaps something that's not sitting with you well, or perhaps something is shifting in your approach even to being a witch or a priestess. Perhaps you need to reconsider either your paradigm, or maybe the tech you use, as we say, tech, right? So the methodology that you use in your craft, to find this new kind of direction for yourself that's going to be very refreshing and reassuring for your self-esteem, as a priestess as well. So hope that helps. The next question is from Caitlin, and that's, I'd love just a general Equinox card, please. Sure thing. Let me just shuffle it for you, and let's see what comes up for Caitlin. Okay. We got the King of Swords. And this one, I just love this depiction, by the way, because the King of Swords is often portrayed as this very like stark and emotionless dude, with a sword, and very like lost in his intellect and all of that. But this King of Swords appears to be more in tune with, the world around him, because of the, butterflies and everything floating above this person. So what's coming up for me, in this equinox kind of spirit, is to reach out there with, you know, how do I say this? I'm kind of thinking of a phrase in Polish, but doesn't make sense to say here. Uh, what I'm trying to say is that it would be nice to be more perceptive of the world around you, not just on this like intellectual level, but also with your empathy and your emotions, to see what needs tending, and how that relates to your inner world as well. Because a lot of the times the ecology around us. And I don't know if you are an animist or not, Caitlin. So I'm not sure how much this vibes with you, but this is my approach, very much animistic, is that a lot of the times the ecology around us will give us clues and signs about what we should be tending to within ourselves as well, so when you look at this state of the world around you, but locally, okay, so not focusing on the bigger picture right now, but just focusing on your household, or maybe your garden, or maybe your close family or your close community, and seeing how um, basically the state of that at the moment, and how that relates to your inner states, that's going to give you clues about what to tend to at this time, where to put your energy in order to actually improve your quality of life, or maybe move with ease into this season of spring that's incoming, right? Okay, let's go. Christine wants a general equinox reading as well. Oh, you got the best card. You got the frog magician. I love this so much for you. So, again, because this is a general equinox reading, right? So you weren't asking about anything specific. But I think this magician in particular, this depiction is such a mood. It's like, harness what you have, and really allow yourself to go for it. So maybe look at what you would really love to like dive into at this time of year and actually go for it, and maybe think later if you are the kind of person who has the tendency to overthink too much, or like plan 10 steps in advance before you do something, just to stay on the safe side. This time of year, it would be nice to ditch all of that just for a moment, and harness this energy of spring to actually do something that you really want to do at this time. I hope this helps, and good luck. The frog magician definitely supports this message. Love this so much. Okay, so Vanelestis, hi, is asking for a general message as well for the upcoming weeks. All right, let's see. All right, we have the Two of Pentacles. This is a really lovely depiction, by the way. So the Two of Pentacles is a card of balancing, but I think in this particular like context of the equinox and the spring that's just unfolding, um, it's talking about the balancing of sowing seeds and kind of tending to yourself at the same time. If you are currently endeavoring some kind of projects, or opening yourself up to some new creative venues or whatever, it would be nice to see how much energy you're putting out there versus taking in, just to make sure that you are regenerating properly. So kind of maybe perceiving yourself as a seedling, or as a seed that's being sown at this time of year, and ensuring that as your projects are developed and grown, and over time blooming, so do you. Okay, so it's not just one-sided. Make sure that you're actually tending to yourself just as much as to the creative projects that you're into at this time. Okay, I just need to take a sip of tea. I don't know, when I talk, my vocal cords tend to just give up so quickly. It's always been like that. So I guess that's just how I am. Rose is asking, how can I achieve my great work as a witch? I'm assuming that you do have some kind of like goal in mind, something that you would like to focus on, or maybe like an ultimate goal, because great work is I'm getting like something big, so I will keep that in mind while shuffling. How can I achieve my great work as a witch? This is really cool. So we got the Queen of Wands. I love this so much, honestly. To me, the Queen of Wands is one of those like more badass queens in the tarot in general. You can see like she's kind of like a cat lady. There's a black cat by her side, and she's wielding this wand, or this staff more like, and she's fiery and passionate, and very open with the kind of fiery nature that she possesses, So I think in terms of like achieving your great work as a witch, as you worded this, I think you should be focusing on just being more unapologetic about the things you do, and not being shy around the things you do, just like be open with it, and place yourself, or at least work towards, achieving this state where you can place yourself on this kind of pedestal is maybe not the best word, but that's the only one that's coming to mind right now, of like proper self-worth. So you do know, your worth, you do know your inner power, and the things that you can give or offer to the community and the ecology around you, so working on things that actually empower you as a person, that allow you to not feel shy or not feel less than, I don't know, some other practitioners, working on that sense of knowing what you're doing. I think that's really important for you on your path, at least at this stage. So maybe some kind of boost of confidence would be good at this time. Okay, Antler Moth is asking to what I'm blind in my spirit relationships. What hinders my relationships? Okay, so we are talking about relationships with spirits, and what you're not seeing, right? Blind spots. Blind spots that are hindering your spirit relationships. Oh, okay. We got a very clear message. This is the Seven of Swords. Again, a frog, which might be misleadingly cute, but the Seven of Swords is the card of being stolen from. So it appears that perhaps you should be upping your protections at this time. Or maybe in terms of spirit work, that one of the spirits you are attempting to work with or are already working with might not be who they say they are, basically concealing their identity or telling you lies about who they are. Either way, I'm seeing some kind of breach of security in your current system of working with spirits. So, just to make sure that you are on the kind of, proper foundation when it comes to spirit work. Personally, what I would do in a situation like this would be to do some proper cleansing, banishing, and then re-establishing your protections to ensure that there are no, spirits that are pretending to have your best interest in mind or pretending to be somebody else. It can happen. It's not really that common, but it just appears that either this is happening, or somebody else, like in your environment, somebody that's human, is trying to steal from you, and is basically leaking your life force energy to the point where you are not able to properly focus on your work. So either way, I would be doing cleansing, banishing, and re-establishing protections to have like this fresh, solid foundation, and to ensure that there's no like Trojan horse, so to speak, within your system of, the spirits and allies that you are working with. I hope this helps. Let's continue. Okay. LDP says my husband unfortunately lost his job as part of the federal admin slashes here in the US. I am too close to the situation to get any clear divination, so was hoping for any direction or clarity. I'm really sorry to hear that, by the way. I know that the situation in the US is just horrific at this time, so I really sympathize with everybody who's affected by this situation, which I'm guessing is most people, because, yeah, I get it. So you are asking for direction or clarity on the situation. I'm guessing I'm going to read it this way because that's how I'm reading your situation here, that you want some clarity around the job situation of your husband, right? So let's see, something that you should know maybe at this time to get some direction and clarity on the matter. Okay. So I'm feeling like two cards will be more appropriate for this. And that's what I got. For questions like this, I sometimes like to take one card from the top of the deck and then the other from the bottom as a kind of underlying message, especially when we're talking about blind spots. So we got the devil and the ace of swords. Maybe I should put them like this. I don't know what's easier. So when it comes to potential, like, blind spots or helping you get clarity on the situation, it's going to be difficult to untangle yourself from a situation like this when this is literally on a national level, right? So I think your husband, perhaps, and honestly, like, no wonder, because it's not easy to lose a job, right? This is just fucked up. So it's kind of hard to untangle oneself emotionally from a situation like this when he's personally affected to this degree, to be, losing his job, and basically how to go on, right? So I think for him, if you would like to support him, or maybe, help him find some kind of direction, it would be nice for him to focus on untangling himself, because the devil is often the card that shows being enmeshed in a situation that's not serving us, but the enmeshment and the feeling of being stuck in something is mostly like on the level of our psyche and not being actually stuck, you know what I mean? So in this context, I think he should be looking at his potential, like, future career opportunities, maybe outside of his current or his last jobs, like, I don't know, department, or like, career path, basically, to look for options elsewhere. That's what I'm trying to say, because it would probably help him relieve and like unleash the burdens that came with this whole situation. It seems that there's a lot of like feelings of being hurt and betrayed and all of that, which honestly, again, no wonder, because this is fucked up. But it would really help him feel better and maintain his mental health in this fucked up situation if he maybe looks outside of this whole how do you say it, like, field of work. That's what I'm trying to say, and the second card is ace of swords. So again, this is a card of newness, new project, new spark on this intellectual level. So looking outside of the kind of options that maybe he would naturally gravitate towards, looking outside of the box to see where this leads him. It could be a healthier option for him potentially at this stage, just because there's so much crisis or like uncertainty around the current field that he was just fired from, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm just kind of lacking vocabulary, honestly, in English when it comes to career stuff. So I hope this wasn't confusing and that you understood what I was trying to convey. I tried my best anyway, and good luck, honestly, to you and your husband. I hope that this gets resolved in a way that allows you for relief, because that's what's needed. Let's see. So my chat just jumped. Let me. Okay. So the next question would be from Chortwie. I just made a big decision about my academic path. Am I making a good choice? Will it help me achieve my goals? Let's see. It appears that this equinox season is like this time of big decisions for quite a few of us, life changing potentially. I think it's good to kind of ride the wave of what's kind of happening in the world too. And I don't mean like politically, I mean seasonally right now, to like take advantage of, the situation to be able to make changes or like let go of something, especially let go of something, right? With the spring equinox, that's what we like to do traditionally. But anyway, let's see if it was a good choice and if it's going to help you achieve your goals. Okay. We got the Ace of Swords again. I was just like shuffling for quite a long time, I think. So I it appears that this one really wanted to jump out at you. I think in the context of your question, will it help you achieve your goals? I think it's too early to say because this is an ace. So this is like the beginning of a new path, right? I think when it comes to matters of intellect, because you are mentioning that this is about your academic path, the Ace of Swords in general is a good sign because it's a sign of like this freshness of perspective, of intellectual perspective. Okay. So maybe you got yourself out of a situation that if you were following the path from before the choice, it would kind of get murkier or less um desirable to you basically. And this one, this choice that you made, definitely seems like a fresh energy, a new start, something that has a lot of potential. If it's going to help you achieve your goals, I think, because this is the potential, this is pure potential of intellect, the Ace of Swords, you can make from it what you will, but you need to put the effort to actually make the goals come true, make the goals be achievable, right? So you have a good foundation, a great start at hand at this moment. So seize it and make the best of it, basically. And I think it would be good to ask about the goals more long term, like maybe in 6 months or something, depending how what choice this was specifically and how fast it takes to unfold, right? But it's not really obvious from this card at this time. So I hope this helps and good luck on your academic path. Okay, Kelsey is asking, I need to make a big decision about when to sell our current home and look for something new. I'd love some guidance about timelines, buying alone versus shared land, or anything else that comes through. Um, I think we will want to potentially pull some Lenormand as well. I will see what comes up from the tarot alone, and depending on the outcome, I will see if I need to pull some Lenormand to clarify. Because honestly, when it comes to like timing, um, stuff like that, it's easier for me to see that stuff from the Lenormand system. So again, you want guidance about timelines, buying alone versus shared land, or anything else that comes through. So let's see what comes through basically from tarot, and we'll go from there. Hmm. Okay. So I got two cards again, one from the top, one from the bottom. So the top card is Justice, and the bottom card is the King of Pentacles. So to me, these two together speak a lot about, the justice when it comes to land, because the King of Pentacles ultimately is the king that represents the land itself, right? And if you are in the US, obviously there are movements that are related to giving land back and so on, and just these considerations of buying land in relation to how that affects the population of natives. That's what I was trying to say. So honestly, I think you should be paying attention to this. I'm sure you already are, by the way. But just to like make sure, this is what's coming through. Justice when it comes to land, this is like a keyword, I suppose, of something to focus on, right? So make sure that whatever choice you go for, that it's kind of in line with making sure that you're not taking advantage of the natives of the land, right? Or making sure that whatever option you go for is maybe giving back in some way or otherwise being helpful to achieving the justice for the natives. That's what's coming through for me. Let's see what the Lenormand says about the maybe timelines or maybe some more guidance. I don't know. Let's just see what comes up. Hmm. Yeah, the Lenormand is always like, I'm gonna fuck you up. The Lenormand is always like this auntie who's like overly honest. I'm so sorry. I maybe shouldn't have pulled. But we got three cards: the Crossroads, the Lilies, and the Bear. Let me just show it quickly because I actually need to be looking at this while reading. So basically, it kind of shows your current situation. Uh, and these cards in particular are not indicative, I think, of the timing in which this is going to happen. So I'm sorry, I thought maybe it would come up, but I'm not seeing like clearly when you should be starting with the process on, or maybe like which month you should be selling the current house and so on. But what I'm getting from these cards is that there's going to be somebody maybe from the family, uh probably like a female figure, at least that's how it's showing up to me, who's kind of going to, how do I say this, like contribute to this situation once you are at the very crossroads of making this decision. So look out for potential, like, I don't know, inheritance maybe, or somebody from the family trying to help. If it's a female figure, this person could be very helpful to figuring out how to best go about this. Okay, that's what I'm getting. So look out for the signs, look out for the potential, maybe family member or somebody like from the close community, a female figure, older, who will be helpful to you. Okay. They might be coming with either some like aid, financial aid, or clues on how to go about it. And good luck, of course. Okay. Anna is asking, I'm about to make a midlife crisis style decision. Am I on the right path or am I forcing myself on a course that's not mine to follow? Okay. Oh my. Let's see what the cards say. I love this question, by the way, because I can kind of feel you. I'm not maybe in my midlife yet, although it does feel like it. I think for us millennials, those crises come a tiny bit earlier than they used to for our parents. That's kind of how I'm feeling. But anyway, let's let's focus on your situation. So you are kind of facing a midlife crisis style decision, and you want to know if it's actually the right path for you, or if you're forcing something that's not for you. Hmm. Interesting. We got the Knight of Swords. So this is somebody who is really trying to push forward with a situation. So I think this really represents you, right? Because the knight is pushing forward, and also it's a Knight of Swords. So it's in the realm of intellect, of making decisions, making moves. Okay. And also, I pulled the card from the bottom again because I think it often gives us clues about mm, how the situation looks, or a less conscious level, basically. And I got the Chariot, which shows that again there's impulses within you that are kind of battling. And I think really this is kind of what you already told us with the question, that you're trying to see if the situation is something that you actually want, or if you're pushing something. And honestly, from these two cards, I am seeing that you are too focused on trying to understand the situation intellectually, and what you should be doing instead is focusing on the instincts, right? I know this is the kind of advice that's really difficult to take, because it's up to you to find what's the overthinking, what's the intellect that's trying to um, overthink it to make sure that maybe you're safe or not making, some rash movements. But the way appears to be with the instincts, which aren't very rational and can't be easily like explained or properly planned for, etc. So it might be scary, honestly. And yeah, I can feel you, but try to maybe take it in the kind of um timing or tempo or rhythm that feels good for you, so it's not like scary, or you don't feel like you're just like destroying your life, but do try to follow the instincts instead of the intellect. Okay, that's the best advice I got for you. I don't think anybody can, and even the cards can make that choice for you. You just need to make sure that it's coming from the instincts and not being forced upon you from some like over intellectualizing or overthinking. Okay. Good luck. Okay. Another sip of tea. S is asking for a general seasonal message. Let's see what we got for you. Ooh. Okay. We got the Wheel of Fortune. So this card, I know that it's often like people see it and they are like, "Oh my god, some shit is gonna go down," but not really. It appears that whatever situation you were in during the winter time, you can think of this like whatever is the most on your mind these days. So whatever, like, I mean, thinking or on your mind these days in terms of like any aspect of your life, right? It appears that it's about to change, about to shift. Okay. And this doesn't indicate whether it's going to shift or change for the better or for worse, but you are currently in a state of transition. Something's about to change. So you can harness this energy to kind of take advantage of it, and maybe make some moves at this time, make some decisions at this time, or try something new at this time, because the overall like energy in your life right now is conducive to maybe experimentation or maybe making some changes. Definitely some fresh energy of change coming your way. Okay. Old Crone's Corner is asking, will I be getting a home soon? Let's see. Hmm. I love tarot. Oh my god. Okay, we got the Six of Swords, which is a card of moving from one place to another. So it appears that this would be a yes, potentially. I'm not sure if you are going to be moving into a home, but you are definitely moving somewhere. Okay, it's very clear from this card. So I would say yes. Kitty says, what do I need to know or need to know about the job offer that starts Tuesday and pertaining to my disabilities during this job? Okay, so you basically want to know if there's anything you should know about the job, especially in terms of your disabilities. If there's anything that you should be aware of or on the lookout for, and so on. That's how I'm reading the question. Hmm. Okay, so we got the Eight of Cups, and this card usually indicates like moving away from something. So if this is a job that you are about to start, I would say that things are about to shift for you a lot, right? But this is kind of like a no-brainer and a general thing that anybody would say when you're starting a new job. So, oh my God, I don't know where to put this. Yeah, okay. So in terms of your job situation, it appears that you should maybe be wary of accommodations in terms of like being able to move, walk, right? Something that has to do with how do you say it? Oh my God, I'm sorry. I sometimes lack vocabulary in English, and that really sucks. But basically, anything that has to do with you being able to walk, maybe on the like property of where the job is, like in the office. Maybe there's something that's going to be an issue of mobility. Yeah, mobility, that's the word I was looking for. So be on the lookout for that, and maybe ask in advance if that's important to you, to see if there's any like hindrances in that regard, and what's their how they are accommodating that, basically. I hope this helps. Okay, so the next question is from Emily. I've suffered from severe chronic pain the last 10 years that the doctors can't find an answer to. Is there any way for me to get rid of this pain somehow? So, just so you know, I don't really do like readings that have to do with diagnosing health, or that kind of stuff. But if you would like, I will just pull like a card that relates to this, but I am not really willing to like tell you about what's going to happen with your medical conditions and so on, because I don't do these kinds of readings. I hope this is okay with you. I need to like state my boundaries as well. I didn't state them in advance as we were starting this, so I'm doing it now. But let's see what the tarot has to tell you in this regard. Okay, so I accidentally pulled two cards from the top. It just appears that they wanted to come up together. The first one is the Queen of Cups. Okay, and I am like I immediately thought that this card probably represents you, because this is the kind of person who is feeling deeply. So obviously, if you are struggling with chronic pain for a decade, this is something that's kind of at the forefront of your life a lot of the times, which is the unfortunate reality of living with chronic conditions. And yeah, I'm really sorry to be talking about it in this way, and that you are experiencing this. um, the second card that we got is the King of Wands, right? So the King of Wands is somebody who's like a very determined person with authority who can make things happen. And in terms of dealing with your situation, perhaps this is the kind of person that you either need to become for yourself, so like a fierce advocate, so that you actually get the kind of aid that you need and that you deserve. Because we know, and I do know because I also have some chronic health stuff, that it's really hard to make doctors listen and to treat us seriously and to actually give us the aid that we need. So either you need to become this fierce advocate for yourself and, I don't know, even fucking bully them until they give you the help that you deserve, or find somebody who will be that person for you. That could probably be helpful to your situation. That's all I'm going to say about this, because again, I don't want this to come across as diagnosing or anything close to that. And good luck to you, honestly, because that sounds like a lot of struggle to be dealing with on a regular daily basis. And I'm really sorry that you are experiencing this. Okay, so sorry, I don't know how to say your surname, so let's just say Maggie. asks for advice on starting small candle making business this year. Let's see what the cards have to say in terms of advice. Okay. Um, you got the Three of Swords, and don't be discouraged by just seeing this card. But it's coming as an advice that's very like down to earth and realistic. And it's that if you are about to start or open up a new business, you need to be ready for moments when things don't go the way you envisioned it. Because oftentimes, when we come up with a new creative endeavor, or we want to share something cool that we made with the world, we are so hyped about it and just ecstatic to be able to share, that we sometimes don't take into consideration that it could come with hardships, that it might not necessarily like straight away take off or go the way we thought. So just maybe do some research. I'm sure you already have if you're looking into creating a business like that. But either like look into the potential struggles that come with this type of business. You said you want to make candles, right? Yeah, small candle making business. So either like legal stuff that has to do with it, or otherwise like just be on the lookout for potential bitchy customers that could be a headache at the end of the day. Okay, that's the vibe I'm getting. So just make sure that you are building your resilience in a way to be able to handle the kind of struggles that come with having your own small biz. Because those of us who do some kind of small biz stuff, we know that there's always something, right, that you have to deal with that's not really what you wanted in the first place. So just keep that in mind as a potential struggle on the way. And good luck as well. Okay, let's see. My chat just jumped again, so I need to. Mm, okay. Jasper is asking, can I get a general equinox reading for the season ahead? Of course. Let me see what the cards have in store for you. General equinox reading for Jasper. Ooh, okay, you got the High Priestess. So it's telling me that perhaps you should be looking into, venturing into the types of craft that have to do with intuition. So either like maybe upping your divination skills, or maybe offering your abilities to some friends and folks around you, or maybe opening yourself up to spirit work. The high priestess is somebody who is very open as a person on a kind of receiving information from the spirit world, right? So this could go in a few directions for you, but this is just like a general suggestion. Open yourself up to either spirit work or maybe some divination or something that has to do with your intuition this spring. It could be fun and it could also bring you some cool results. So good luck. Um, let's see. Yulia is asking, am I truly ready to start working with the devil? Let me just, let's see. Are you truly ready? Are we ever truly ready? Sorry. Let's see what the cards say. I love this for you either way, because the devil is the devil. I'm so cryptic. Yeah, sorry. Okay, we got the moon. So it appears to me that perhaps as you are approaching this work with the devil, there are some either like unaddressed misconceptions that you hold around the figure of the devil, or maybe some like deep-seated fears that you still have like left over from the way we are usually groomed to grow up in in our society, viewing the devil as an evil figure who wants to destroy everybody and is scary and so on. So it just appears that maybe there's something unaddressed for you, like either emotionally or in terms of knowledge about the devil, that would be cool to address before you start the work, just to make sure that you are not adding like burdens to your work, but instead you can start it with ease, without fear, and without those like misconceptions or like burdens that come with growing up in a largely like Christian centric society that's kind of inserting those uncool beliefs into us about the devil. You know what I mean? So I don't know like where you are at this stage when it comes to the devil. Maybe picking up an additional book before you start, or just making sure that you do some divination around seeing where potential issues might come up for you, like on an emotional level with working with the devil, could be helpful before you start. You know, just something to keep in mind potentially. But as I was saying, are we ever fully ready? I don't think so, honestly. I think when it comes to spirit work in general, you can never be fully prepared for what's going to come up, and the kind of mm, either the way the spirits want to work with you, or the way you as a person react to the spirit if you try to work with them for the first time. This is not something that you can be fully prepared for. It's just something that you need to be open to exploring as it kind of unfolds. So it's always wise to be well protected and to kind of have a good foundation of knowing yourself enough so that you know how to cope with situations that are new to you, uh, some kind of new information, or new ways of communication that can come up with the spirits and so on. Like it's always kind of unpredictable, right? Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way that's challenging to us. So I think just working on feeling competent and being well protected, you can't go wrong with that. And even if something unexpected comes your way as a result of opening the doors for working with a new spirit, be it the devil or anybody else, yeah, it can be helpful to consider that. So good luck. Let's see. Okay, so Lixira is asking, I also made a big choice in the past days academically, and I wonder if it is the correct choice to take extra year, or should I pursue PhD this year? Let's see what the cards say. We got the Ace of Pentacles. In my humble opinion, this is a card because all of the aces are kind of the raw potential of the element that they represent. So we were earlier talking about the Ace of Swords as an example of the raw potential of the element of air and thus intellect. With the Ace of Pentacles, this is the raw potential of the element of earth. So as a way to answer your question, I think it speaks to like taking things slow, or like, for example, sowing seeds that it will take some time before they actually germinate and grow. Or also, you could see this as a card of coziness in a way. So, either way, I take the Ace of Pentacles as a card that says it's okay to wait. You don't have to do everything straight away. Okay. It's okay to wait. It's okay to take your time. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Nothing's going to run away from you per se in this regard. So, um, yeah, I hope this answers your question. Let's see. Okay, so Mariana says, hi, is there something I need to know while choosing a university this year? I really want to go to the same city as my girlfriend. How will it end up? Let's see. Exciting. Going to uni. Ah. Oh my god, this is great. We got the magician. This is the fabulous frog magician that we already got earlier today. So as a message in terms of going to the university in the same city as somebody else, I think the magician unfortunately says that it might not necessarily happen, or that you should be focusing on yourself and not your partner at this time. I know this might sound like a, kind of beachy advice, but this is what's coming up for me. The magician is kind of more of an individualist, somebody who's focusing on the self, on harnessing opportunities for yourself and making sure that you are actually providing a good start in life for yourself at this time. Okay. So, either way, like, this to me suggests that you might not necessarily end up in the same city as your girlfriend, but if you do, you should still be focusing on yourself more than the partner at this time, to be able to establish like a good situation for yourself. Hope this helps, and hope it's not too much of a beachy advice, as I said. Because I know everybody wants to be with their partner, but sometimes maybe it's good to hear that it's okay to focus on yourself as well. Echoes of Evil. I want to ask if I am on the right track in my witchcraft practice, or should I look for something else? Let's see what the cards say. Hmm. Okay. So we got the world, and it appears that you are at a stage where you are maybe still exploring things, or if you don't feel like you want to explore more things, maybe you should reconsider, because it appears that there are some routes, either like some paradigms or some approaches or some tech and so on, that you still have not explored. But the wide world is out there, the world card says. And thus, I think you could benefit from just being open to exploring some more. You don't have to change your practice straight away, but just making sure that you widen your horizons, basically, by either like studying some things that you previously have not studied, reading some more books about paths that you never considered before, etc. Being open to what's out there, you can potentially find something really cool that you weren't aware of. So just stay open out there. It doesn't say straight away. The world card is a very open card. It will not tell you if you are on the right track or the wrong track. It says that you should be very open to what's out there. Okay, not to close yourself off, not to have this very narrow perspective of, okay, I need to focus on this one path because, I don't know, I am either used to it, or maybe somebody I respect, some practitioner I respect, does this thing, so I need to do the same. Be open, see what's out there, and don't be afraid to explore. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions in caps lock, but I'm seeing somebody asked a question without caps lock. So since I am seeing it, I will read it and pull a card. Hi, Joanna. I want to ask if it's okay for me to reach out to a deity I've been feeling called to for help with my projects for my divination practice after sorting out my current work with my spirit team. This is a question from Occult Whispers. Let me read this again because it's quite a complex Quite a complex question. There's quite a few parameters. I just want to make sure that um, I kind of understand the whole thing. So again, is it okay for me to reach out to a deity I've been feeling called to? So this is not a deity that you have been working with before, I'm guessing, for help with projects for divination practice. So with help for divination practice after sorting out my current work with spirit team. Okay, so I'm guessing that you have something to sort out with your current spirits, and after you do that, if it's a good idea to reach out to this deity to help you with divination. Okay, let's do this. Hmm. Yes. The Ace of Wands is like this straight up yes. That's it. So if you are considering reaching out to this deity, once you sort out the things with your current spirits, it's a yes. Okay, you can reach out. It's going to yield some good results for you. That's it. Very straightforward. I love it when tarot does that. Okay, and Candy is asking for an Equinox reading. When it comes to decks I am into today, I was actually talking about my current faves and what I'm using at the beginning of this live. So feel free to rewatch the replay of the live if you're interested in that. I talk about four decks. Yeah. So a general Equinox reading for Candy. Aww. This is so cool. I love this deck so much. By the way, for those who don't know and want to know, this is the Flower Child Tarot. So, Candy, for you, I have the Lovers. And here we have another card with the Fabulous Frogs. So, you have the Fabulous Frogs Lovers today. Okay. And in terms of a general equinox reading, I think this is just saying, honestly, to be focusing on your commitments to the people who are close to you. And this doesn't have to necessarily be like, your partner. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. So, whatever like relationships are the most important to you at this time, just tending to them, making sure that the kind of balance of commitment is held on both sides, that the balance of giving and receiving is held on both sides, and this can, go either way. I don't have to explain, I'm sure, because oftentimes we kind of go out of that balance and we give too much, or somebody else gives too much, and it's kind of fucking up what's already been there established. So just tending to this balance, making sure that the relationships that are important to you are properly tended to at this time. And I love that there's a flower in between here, right? It's kind of giving this gardening vibe and reminding us of how important it is to um, see work being put into the love or the friendship or whatever other relationship in ways that are well balanced and are not over neglectful or are not overly like involved, because either one of those extremes can destroy the flower, which is very very delicate. So something to look into or consider for this equinox for you. Uh, okay. So do not obey in advance. I love this name. Asks, I've been trying to make a move to a different part of the country for health and other reasons, but have had only roadblocks. What's blocking me and what will help me move forward? Thank you. Okay, let's see what's blocking you and what will help you move forward with this. Wait, I have some cards like turned the other way, sorry. Hmm. We got the full. And that's another fabulous frog, by the way. So I think all of the cards with the fabulous frogs are like blessed by design. Uh, but anyway, to take it more seriously, I think when it comes to the move, perhaps you can't really fully prepare for everything. It appears that maybe taking some risks could potentially be beneficial for you in this regard. And I am really wary of giving this kind of advice because I don't want you to like take risky decisions that could ruin your life, obviously, but just being more open minded to options you previously maybe considered to not be ideal for you, or like basically considering alternative routes that may have previously appeared like kind of meh, or not your vibe. Consider alternatives, because maybe that's the route to be able to move, because you're saying that there's only roadblocks on your way. And that's strange, because usually when we endeavor something, when we work towards something, it should be a mixture of, okay, I take one step forward and maybe two steps back. But if it's just steps back, then maybe the approach should be changed, like overall, like take a different route, right? That's what I'm getting from the full. Like, be open. Maybe you're not considering something. Maybe there's something else to, like, another first step that you can take that will change the entire journey for you. You know? I hope that this helps, and good luck. Okay. I need to take a sip of tea. Let me just quickly check if we didn't get any new anonymous questions. And if not, then I will be slowly wrapping up. Yeah, no. So I think we are good. Yeah, I've been reading for over an hour at this point, so I feel quite, you know, stretched, so to say. So I think we will close the readings as of now. But it's amazing that so many people came to hang out and to actually ask a question. I wasn't able to read the entire chat, so I will probably catch up with the non-question discussions later on in the replay. But yeah, it was super fun to hang out, and hopefully the readings were helpful, or at least entertaining for those who came to watch and to listen and to hang out. So thank you so much for coming. And I think I will repeat this sometime around summer solstice. So I will definitely be announcing this on my Patreon as well. If you came here like randomly on, or don't know about my Patreon, you can actually subscribe for free if you would like to. And it kind of serves as a newsletter for the stuff I do, and sometimes free content, or like interviews I was in, and so on. So feel free to jump on the free tier, or maybe support my work if you enjoyed your reading today by subscribing, so we can stay in touch in between these meetings. But anyway, again, it was so much fun. Thank you so much. Wishing everybody an amazing spring, and may we all thrive as our gardens, hopefully in this new season. So thank you so much, and see you around soon. Bye.